Drakkar Klose and Rafa Garcia. Now, most people are going to be more familiar with Drakkar. He's been in some bigger fights. He fought Bobby Green, Mark DeCasey, Benil Dariush. And recently, he did look good in his TKO win over Brendan Jenkins. That was his first fight back in 2 years. Before that, he tried to bring it to Benil Dariush and started getting wild. He thought he had Benil hurt, and Benil just finished him off like Mortal Kombat.
A lot of people say that Benil came back, it was a comeback win, but if you go look at the first round, Benil dominated him the whole first round.
Yeah.
Drakkar had success in the second round when he thought he hurt Benil, but prior to that, he was losing.
And that's the thing.
That's the thing with Drakkar. He's not the most active fighter. He sits back, and every now and then he throws occasional leg kicks, he throws occasional knees, but then he tries to steal each round with takedowns.
If you watch his fights, the only thing he does really consistently is throw leg kicks. He just tries to throw leg kicks. That's a good weapon to use if you can take somebody's base from under them, but there's nothing spectacular with the hands.
I'm going to tell you another thing with Drakkar. He struggled with fighters who he can't take down. We watched the Bobby Green fight. He struggled completely with Bobby Green.
And in fact, they really robbed Bobby Green in that fight, because we watched the fight and going into round 3, Bobby was already up 2-0. He had 2 takedowns, and Drakkar didn't have no takedowns. Some kind of way he won the fight. Then you end up fighting Christos Giagos, who he's kind of on everybody's record at this point. Then you end up getting a fight where he was out of your league. He was overmatched. It was very clear. Maybe you needed some more experience or some more tools. Now, Rafa, not necessarily an elite level fighter, but I would say I went back and watched his fight with Chris, and he should have won that fight. He had more takedowns. He won on the stand-up. I don't even see how they even called that fight like that. He clearly won that whole fight.
The thing is with Rafa, if he can't get the takedown, it's almost like there's nothing else he can do.
But except for he got heavy hands, though.
He has heavy hands, but he's not the most clean. Like, he has heavy hands, but he's not the most accurate and precise fighter.
But it ain't like Drakkar gonna have a bunch of head movement. And what you gotta think about who he's fighting here. He's not fighting Muhammad Ali. Drakkar is gonna be just trying to get a takedown, one to grapple. The only way I can see Drakkar winning this fight is as the fight progresses. If Rafa gets tired and Drakkar, see, one thing Drakkar does good is making the fight seem closer than what it is. That's what you gotta be worried about. That's why his record is like that. He only got 2 losses. He can make the fight seem closer than what it is by having little to no offense. I don't know how in the world he's doing it. It ain't no stand-up. It ain't no striking.
Another thing is with Drakkar, he does good at a certain level. When he fights fighters at a certain level who are beneath him, he does good. It's almost like he's a gatekeeper, because once you beat Drakkar, oh yeah, you're elite.
But he only got 2 losses. Man, I'm taking Rafa because I know he has more offense. He has more output. He has more options. I will say, Drakkar going to have the same cardio at the end of the fight as at the beginning, because he's a well-trained athlete. Yes, he can make the fight seem closer than what it is. In the eyes of the judges, for whatever reason, they just like to score the fight for him. Because I can see Rafa coming out strong and winning, maybe even doing the same thing in round 2. But depending on when he gets tired, Drakkar can take over, and then the judges remember what happened more recently. And for some reason, they just don't care what happened in the first round. So I can see that happening, but I'm taking Rafa just because I like the fighting style more.
The thing is with Drakkar, he beat one fighter he should not have beaten, and that's Bobby Green. And what happens when fighters beat fighters they're not supposed to win through a close decision? They end up fighting fighters they're not supposed to be fighting. And that's the thing is, like, he beat Bobby Green, he fought Benil Dariush and got embarrassed.
And it was very clear that there was a gap of talent there.
Exactly. So is Rafa a step higher than Drakkar?
No.
But one thing Drakkar got going for him is the opponents he fought. He fought some big name fighters. And we can't really say the same thing about Rafa.
Dude, he fought Mark DeCasey, who Mark started off as having a whole bunch of hype, and all that went down the drain, and he just started climbing back up the ranks. David Tamer, I haven't even heard from this guy lately.
Ooh.
Hey, this ain't bad. But he been inactive for 3 years. It's like a little asterisk. It's a good win. We don't know how it's aged. Lando Venata, that has not aged well, because it just hasn't. Bobby Green, that's decent. Well, again, he should have lost that fight. Christos Giagos, that has not aged well.
Nuh-uh.
And then Benil Dariush, when it was a clear look. At some point, you gotta have some striking. You can't just try to make the fight close, throwing leg kicks, and then think I'm gonna steal the fight at the end of the round. Now, he did look fantastic in his last fight, but he fought somebody who was outmatched. Like, you're supposed to. This is your comeback fight, man. Come on, you fighting somebody who was 15-8 at the time. This man got 8 losses.
Another thing with Drakkar in fight exchanges, he gets real wild. You ever notice that? That's why he lost to Benil Dariush, because he got real wild.
But I ain't never seen him get that wild before. That was crazy.
And then his last fight, yeah, he got the job done with Brandon, but he got wild. He got extremely wild. So the thing is, Drakkar and Rafa, the grappling gonna really cancel out. It's gonna be a striking match.
And if he play that game, Rafa gonna have the advantage. Now the one thing is, Rafa he has naturally heavy hands, but in the UFC that hasn't resulted in a knockout.
Well, he only has one knockout on his record.
But it's so weird because you would think he's a knockout guy because of the way he fights, but he really want to get the fight to the ground and get a submission. With Drakkar striking being so rudimentary, it does leave an opportunity for him to clean his hands up and surprise people, bro. If you even just get a jab, if you can get a jab and a right hand, forget all that other wild stuff, all that old crazy swinging and banging like you did against Benil Dariush.
Do he really need that? Do he really need that? Because he only got 2 losses.
Yeah, but look at what happened when he fought the upper level of the division.
But that's not. But Rafa is not the upper level though.
He ain't. But if you plan on beating Rafa, you're gonna have to fight. You know, you might as well start. Think about it. You want to start trying new tricks against Sarukian or Jalen Turner, or do you want to start now?
Another thing is Rafa never been knocked out. He has a great iron chin.
He ain't never been submitted either.
So that's the thing. Can Drakkar put him away?
I'm picking Rafa here. Now again, I can see how he can lose. I see a path to victory for both fighters, but I'm picking Rafa just because he seems to have a little bit higher ceiling. Not as big of a name, but I see more potential there.
Yeah, Drakkar, he's too inactive in fights. He can be inactive. He can be a little too tentative.
He's standing in one spot and he just put his hands down, and he wants you to come to him so he can. It's like nobody's about.
The only thing is with Rafa, I like to see him land more punches. I don't like him swinging in the air and missing.
But he wants to wrestle and get the fight to the ground. That's
But what happens if he can't get the fight to the ground?
He got better hands than Drakkar, and he don't stand in one place the whole time.
I'm gonna go with Drakkar. I think he's fought tougher opponents.